Hello there, how's it going? This is my 19th recording for the book Atomic Habits, and in this one, we will talk about chapter 10, how to find and fix the causes of your bad habits. So, we are at the second law of behavior change, make it attractive, and in this one, we will actually talk about how to make a behavior unattractive, how to make a bad habits unattractive. And the chapter starts with talking about a book called Alan Carr's Easy Way to Stop Smoking. This is a very popular book that millions of people have read, and they were able to stop quitting. They were able to quit smoking by reading the book. And this section talks about how the book works. Mike had been smoke free for a few years at that point, and he swore that he broke the habit because of a book called Alan Carr's Easy Way to Stop Smoking. So Mike was the author's friend, and Mike told the author James Clear that he broke the habit of smoking by reading this book. So James Clear actually got interested in the book and he bought it and he read it to see how can a book stop a smoking addiction, which is so powerful. It frees you from the mental burden of smoking, he said. It tells you, stop lying to yourself. You know you don't actually want to smoke. You know you don't really enjoy this. It helps you feel like you are not the victim anymore. You start to realize that you don't need to smoke. So that's the quotation of what Mike said. It frees you from the mental burden and it tells you stop lying to yourself. You don't actually want to smoke. You don't really enjoy this. Yeah, that's a very powerful idea. You don't really enjoy this. Whenever you are doing some bad habit, you should remind yourself that you don't really enjoy this, because after you are done, you will feel bad. It helps you feel like you are not a victim anymore. You start to realize that you don't need to smoke. The author employs an interesting strategy to help smokers eliminate their cravings. He systematically reframes each cue associated with smoking and gives it a new meaning. He says things like, "You don't you think you think you're quitting something, but you are not quitting anything because cigarettes do nothing for you." That's a very good idea, right? You can replace cigarettes with anything else, like video games, for example, or social media. You think you're quitting something, but you're not really quitting anything because the bad habits you're doing, that does nothing good for you, right? You think smoking is something you need to do to be social, but it's not. You can be social without smoking at all. You think smoking is about relieving a stress, but it's not. Smoking does not relieve your nerves, it destroys them. Yeah, that's a very good idea. You can say the same thing about video games. They don't relax you, they numb your brain. True relaxation comes from sleep through rest. It does not come from video games or social media. What they do is they silent your brain for some time. Over and over, he repeats these phrases and others like them. Get it clearly into your mind, he says. You are losing nothing and you are making marvelous positive gains, not only in health, energy, and money, but also in confidence, self respect, freedom, and most important of all, in the length and quality of your future life. Very powerful ideas, very powerful ideas. Why a bad habit is bad in the first place, right? It's bad because it doesn't do any good, and all it does is bad. You are only repeating a bad habit is because it has become a habit. That was the part of the double-edged sword. If you repeat something, it will become easier, and and it will increase the likelihood of you doing it again. So the only reason you are smoking is because that's what you have been doing. That's the negative side of the double-edged sword. So you are losing nothing and you are making marvelous positive gains, not only in health, energy, and money, but also in confidence, self respect, freedom, and most important of all, in the length and quality of your future life. So, whenever you want to quit a bad habit, remind yourself when you're quitting it, you are not losing anything. All you're doing, you are just gaining more and more. You are gaining positive gains from quitting it, and you are not losing anything. By the time you get to the end of the book, smoking seems like the most ridiculous thing in the world to do. Smoking seems like the most ridiculous thing in the world to do. Let me highlight it. And if you no longer expect smoking to bring you any benefits, you have no reason to smoke. It is an inversion of the second law of behavior change, make it unattractive. Very powerful. If you like a bad habit, then you can't break it. That's the idea. You can't break a bad habit that you like. You have to first, if you want to break a bad habit, you have to start disliking it. And in order to dislike it, you have to make it unattractive. Let's say people are addicted to their phone. Most people will say, well, I like to use my phone, that's why I'm using it. Then that person cannot actually quit their bad habit. if if someone says, well, I don't like that I'm wasting too much time, only that person can actually quit their smartphone addiction. Where cravings come from where cravings come from some of our underlying motives include obtain food and water, connect and bond with others, win social acceptance and approval, reduce uncertainty, achieve status and prestige. Now, these are some of the most basic requirements of human beings. These are the most basic survival instincts, you can say. And there are more. There are more. These are just some of them that I wrote. Obtain food and water. So you need to live. You can't live without food and water. Connect and bond with others. We talked about humans are social animals. We can't live isolated, so that's another part of a very deep desire. Win social acceptance and approval, again, very important. You can't live by making everyone your enemy. Reduce uncertainty. You don't want to stay ignorant. We want to know. Achieve a status and prestige. Well, that's one more. Now, what he argues, a craving is just a specific manifestation of a deeper underlying motive. Your brain did not evolve with a desire to smoke cigarettes or to check Instagram or to play video games. At a deep level, you simply want to reduce uncertainty and relieve anxiety, to win social acceptance and approval, or to achieve status. These are the most basic desires. So, for example, we don't desire junk food, we just desire food and water. Your habits are modern day solutions to ancient desires, new versions of old vices. The underlying motives behind human behavior remain the same. The specific habits we perform differ based on period of history. Here's the powerful part. There are many different ways to address the same underlying motive. One person might learn to reduce stress by smoking a cigarette. Another person learns to ease their anxiety by going for a run. Your current habits are not necessarily the best way to solve the problems you face. They are just the methods you learn to use. Yeah, this is a very powerful part. For example, if video games bring you comfort, that doesn't mean that video games are the best way to give you comfort. That's just one thing you learned. A craving is the sense that something is missing. It is the desire to change your internal state. Neurologists have discovered that when emotions and feelings are impaired, we actually lose the ability to make decisions. We have no signal of what to pursue and what to avoid. As the neuroscientist Antonio Damasio explains, it is the emotions that allow you to mark things as good, bad, or indifference. Here he talks about emotions, that emotions are actually a major part of human behavior. You can't neglect emotions. When you don't have feelings towards something, you won't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing or a neutral thing. Most people think that discipline means avoiding the emotions. Actually, it's not. It's about making things attractive or unattractive. If you don't like something, you will never do it. That's the idea. It's like taking a bitter medicine, right? You only take a bitter medicine because you know it will help you. If you will never drink a bitter medicine if you don't know, if you don't like it. In time, you learn to predict that checking social media will help you feel loved or that watching YouTube will allow you to forget your fears. Habits are attractive when we associate them with positive feelings, and we can use this insight to our advantage rather than to our detriment. Yeah, yeah, you have to make things the things that you don't want to do, like watching YouTube, you have to make them unattractive. And the things you want to do, let's say studying,